Welcome to the Academy. Please take your seats. Welcome to the Academy. Please take your seats. You're just in time. Quick, get behind your bench.
Take 2, let's go.
Pro streamer, everyone. They can hear you, just not me. I'm now not muted. Oh, hi, everyone. Welcome to Fading Footsteps, the fun show where nothing bad ever happens. However, content warning this week, there may be a few themes of perhaps non-intentional self-harm for other reasons. I don't think suicide will be there. At least not intentionally. Let's go around in just a moment after we post these messages. Please check out all of our social links that are being spammed in the chat by the bot right now, all the places you can support us online, all of the places you can find our sponsors, Bird in the Storm Publishing and Mage Hand Press, whom we are very grateful to for they make this all possible, and also all of the wonderful places you can get 10 to 15% discount on all sorts of TTRPG goods, including dice, maps and cartography. Mage Hand Press are there as well with like content, like actual expansions for 5e and that sort of thing, like the show we just played last, and also dice bags, dice trays, and all that sort of good stuff. Do check them out; they're fun. Let's go round and say hello to everyone whilst I update the tweet because I didn't do that because I'm a terrible person. Holly, would you mind leading the introduction while I hastily do that?
Of course. I'm Holly. I'm Sagephilia. You can find me on Twitter under the same name. I am here every Tuesdays and Thursday nights, playing your DM tonight, where I will totally not torture, maim, kill anybody. It's going to be super fun. There will be no emotions, just very calm, placid, nice, not ominous music at all times. We're going to go ahead and send it down to aspiring DM. Who are you? Where can we find you? Who are you playing today?
All right. I'm Jenna. I'm aspiring DM on Twitter, and I'm playing Nim. And I don't know what you want me to say about her much, but
she's going to be great. It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be fun. Yeah. I hope I don't die.
Yeah. Probably. I will not kill you.
Okay.
Probably.
That's fair.
We're going to bounce it on one more down to Lady Tiefling. Oh, hi.
Hello, everyone. I am Lady Tiefling on everything. I make Dungeons and Dragons content. And today I'm going to be playing Sylvia, a Tiefling rogue. And I'm really excited to get into playing her.
I'm excited to see her. Very excited. We're going to go all the way diagonally across to Sarah Somatic. Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. That's me. Hi, everyone. I am Sarah, also known as Sarah Somatic on Twitter, and I DM and produce the D&D 5e campaign known as Sacrosanct, which you can find at Sacrosanct RP. I play Quinn, the enigmatic Quinn, who is an Azamar. Also very mysterious, but really not that mysterious these days, I guess, sort of.
The mystery is being uncovered. Also, thank you, Ang558811, for that sub. And Sarah, you're getting props for the audio in chat. So
nice. Now I just have a delay on my video, but I guess what are you gonna do?
It's fine. It just adds to the mystery of Quinn.
Ooh.
We're gonna scoot on next over to Raven Co-op. Oh, hi.
Heyo. Hi guys, I'm Raven, also known as Raven_Coop or Co-op. You can also find me at Co-op the Podcast, where I have a little podcast with my partner where we talk about all things that we love. So you can find me there. I am playing our garbage half-orc, Araki, and her bestest girl, Kuma. You know them, you love them. And that's it. That's all I have. That's all I got.
I mean, we do. We know them. We love them. Nothing bad is ever gonna happen to Kuma.
Why would you say such a thing, Holly? Why? Why would you say that?
I'm just reassuring everyone. The smile means I'm sincere, right?
Insight check.
Insight the DM.
bumping on over to last but not least, our hasty updater, Centagon. Oh hi. Scratticus, I'm looking at
hasty updater, yeah. Hey everyone, I will be playing Syntagon today, who is the main reason for the warning message I just put in chat. But this will be fine, I'm sure. Also, thank you ANG1 for the follow, and thank you Mirror Shadows for the sub. 5 months already. Wow, where did the time go? Let us know who you want to give the advantage to. Teehee? He's gone. You know, he's just a young tiefling. At least he thinks he is. I know nothing. Everything I know is a lie. It's honestly a pleasure to be tortured like this.
It's a good time. I'm having fun. I'm glad y'all are having fun too, of course.
To recap as well from last week, Holly, you have an advantage. Mirrors, Shadows, Gifts, Aspiring DM, Jenna, an advantage as well. I have an advantage, and Sarah Somatic, you have an automatic success, non-critical, to use at some point during today's show. The advantage is you roll 2 dice to take the highest, you get an advantage.
Cool.
So, do you want to
another sub? Thank you, Jabin.
Thank you,
Jabin.
Thank you so much.
So for a brief recap, now that we've been talking about torturing and advantages, last week on Fading Footsteps, we reached the house of some dragonborn who went by the name of Coop, and once we arrived, staggeredly, we all came together, Araki, Quinn, Syntagon, Cordassa, and found 2 sleeping people who seemed to have absolutely no idea what was going on. There were hypotheses about time travel, about possibly alternate timelines, changing timelines, actors in a big play. We don't really know what's going on, but we do know that the bookshelves can jump, ? And walls fight robots. After dispatching of some robots and having a bunch of questions come up, Quinn dropped a huge bombshell in asking about Cordassa's son. But Centagon didn't hear a thing because Quinn was very, 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 very quiet, except Cordassa's reply, which was very misleading. So he has gone to the hut of isolation with Kuma, and everyone else is emotionally torn about things. So, to start off, we are going to actually start with our new homies. For DM mode. So, Nim and Sylvia, you have heard things are going wrong, and guards have been sent up to figure out a solution to it. As you walk through the twisting tunnels underground for a while, they make some small talk about this Puck, this Centagon, the whole situation going wrong. But they're very vague about how it's gone wrong. Just that there's some meddling tiefling somewhere in the middle of it that's causing it all to unravel. Wondering who exactly they're going to be taking the prisoners back to. After a while, you come to walking up, and they turn to you and they say, "Is this your first time up on the surface since the death?"
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, get your breathers on, and they indicate your chains you have around your neck, and they say, "Now, it's gonna look real weird. I'm sure you've probably heard accounts of it. Everything black. Don't be alarmed. It's just temporary. We're working on a fix to it. So try to just act like you're practiced here. This should just be an easy rookie little inquisition. Just have to ask the Dragonborn a couple questions, maybe rough them up a little bit. Me and this other guy here will go back with the prisoners. Should be 1-2, in and out, easy."
Okie doke.
Sounds good. We're real good at roughing people up. That's
So
us.
good. So good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean,
And then I pull it up.
make a deception roll if you're deceiving.
Well, no, oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Should I be worried about my quaddle with the no breathing thing?
Oh, he kind of like looks at his buddy, who kind of like pokes at it, and you hear a voice in your it kind of like, and you hear a voice in your head that says, "I'm okay with not breathing. I can do it for a real long time."
Okay. I guess he's fine. Pat him on his head.
All right. The cards kind of look at each other.
He says he's fine.
I didn't hear anything. You hear anything? I didn't hear nothing. All right. Anyway, yeah, you two look like you'd be good at roughing some people up. I mean, it's always the
good.
quiet ones you gotta.
That's
you
what
gotta
I
look
said.
at
We're
more.
real tough.
Yep. So tough. The toughest of tough.
All right. So, all right, come follow me. It's going to be real bright. And as you walk up the last of the descent, you come into the world, and the sky is this hazy green, and the sun is still up in the sky, even though you feel like, I mean, your circadian rhythm is a little off, so you could be wrong at what time of day it is, but you feel like it definitely shouldn't be like middle of the day-ish. The ground is hard and blackened, and off in the distance you can see this shambling building. It's probably going to take you about 20 or 30 minutes to walk there. And and they turn to each other and they're like, "All right, tough faces, let's do this." And the other guy's like, "Let's do it." And they start.
My tough face, I'm just gonna like, my eyes are gonna change color and they're gonna be black, and I'm gonna just like try to look really scary.
I'll do the same thing. I'll pull my hood up, and then I'll also try to give a really mean face.
And you begin walking towards this building, and we're gonna hop over to the building. So at the end of last session, we had some time where Syntagon and Kuma dipped into a hut for a minute, and we had a little bit of role play going after that. So let's have a little bit of role play before Quinn gets to the hut with Syntagon and Kuma.
Yeah. Syntagon will cast the hut and look to see how Kuma is.
Wag, 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 looking at you, kind of like nuzzling you a little bit, trying to be that comforting puppa.
Okay, look, I'm gonna try the easy way first, okay? And then it might get... Well, we'll see. I'm gonna try casting knock on my back, which means everyone within a 300-foot radius will hear the sound of, well...
Okay. Could you put that in chat so I can read that real
yes,
fast?
I can go and click it.
Thanks.
I click the button.
Do it. Oh wait, I forgot. I had music for this. Okay. Okay, so you cast knock and you hear this. And I assume that you are targeting the sigil on your back.
I'm targeting specifically the world.
The welt?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so as you cast knock on it, you kind of, you feel like there's an effect but it's not like you physically feel like there's an effect. Like something feels like it sort of like becomes displaced a little bit, but it still is there, and your memories are not back.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd be that easy.
Kuma,
Now I
like,
actually have to think about it. Okay, look, Kuma, what do we know? I'm not 17, which means I actually am old enough to drink. Which means I wasn't lying this whole time. I'm distracting myself from the point. Okay. Syntagon, you're... no, wait, I'm Syntagon. Kuma, you're a great listener. Pat, pat, pat.
kind of does the like gives you the ear thing so you can get in that sweet spot.
Yeah, so the person who turned up and said they were my family is my wife or fiance. We didn't actually get clarification on whether we're actually married or not. But, you know, we're partners, whether it's legal or not. But she mentioned another guy being the most important thing to her in the world. Yeah, that kind of sucks, right? And I don't remember any of her. And we're currently playing through my memories because I'm probably the person who destroyed the world.
Kuma kind of like rests her head on your foot and looks up at you.
So I suppose the question is, do I want to remember everything? Because if I'm the sort of person that would destroy the world, do I want to remember how I became that?
Kuma will roll over and show you her tummy and kind of look up at you and scratch at the collar that she's wearing.
Just out of interest, on their collar, does it have both parts of the, Huh. They took your memories too?
Tail just wags.
Would you like your memories back?
Wow.
I don't know if that's a yes or a no. And I've kind of learned that Melf's Acid Arrow is not a good way of doing this, so I won't be using that on you, Kuma.
Somewhere, Araki starts to sweat.
That's a real big.
Around this time, Quinn, you can be walking up to the hut. And as you start to walk outside of the building, you can see 4 figures in the distance approaching. They're a ways off, though.
Not again. Okay, well, everyone else is kind of busy talking about people like they're not present, like me. I'm just gonna... And he kind of stands there for like a beat, hands behind his back, sort of kicking the toe of his boot against the ground for a hot second before he makes his way closer to the dome. And from where I am right now, can I see any details on the approaching figures?
Roll me perception.
Yeah.
I didn't put my hood up, did I? Oh well.
Okay, so with a 16, you can see there's glinting metallic like shining off of 2 of the figures. The 2 that are in the middle, they seem to be a bit taller And it seems like it's just sort of in this area, not like they're robots, but maybe wearing armor or wearing some sort of insignia. Nim, Sylvia, how tall are you, y'all?
Like 4'10".
I would be 5 feet.
Okay,
We're both
so
short.
flanking
We're
them
small.
are two very much smaller figures coming up to about shoulder height. You can't really make out a ton of detail, but they seem to be headed pretty much straight for where y'all are.
Do I recognize the armor?
It's a little too far away to see.
Okay. Well, for being a high wisdom character, I make bad choices. So I go up to the dome and I just kind of take a breath and I crouch and I say, "Hi, Syntagon. It's Quinn. You don't have to say anything right now. It's probably easier for both of us because I'm not really good at this kind of stuff. I don't really know what you're going through, but I think right now that maybe whatever it is that you decide to do, you shouldn't make that decision alone. I mean, it's a big decision. I know that you have Kuma with you, and Kuma's doing a really good job, really good doggo job of taking care of you and everything. I know that's definitely what's happening, but maybe you need at least someone who can understand what, or try to. Whatever you decide to do, I won't. I know there are people who won't judge you for it or hold it against you, but they might want to be there for you to help you. Oh no, you really don't have to talk. It's okay if you don't say anything at all. It's really okay. You don't have to.
There's a window that goes from opaque to transparent, and you can just see Syntagon's face there.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm a little overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of understandable. Kind of, small things happening and all that. I don't really understand what's going on either, if I should be a little bit honest with you, because I know that I'm not really. I don't know a whole lot about what's going on either. I just kind of heal people.
Oh, that's good to know.
It's a little thing. It's not a big deal. It's a small thing, which apparently you can do now too. Also, it's very unwizard-like, but
Wizards
cool.
can learn healing spells. It's normal.
Okay.
Do you remember things? You talk to bookcases. Why? Are the bookcases people?
Kinda. I mean, they are to me, because they are like people. They have been like people to me. They have personalities. They make decisions. They have morals. Even I don't have morals. They have morals. They have nice teeth too. You should see their teeth. This isn't helping, is it?
I didn't realize they had teeth. Are they like mimics or?
Yeah. The technical term is mimics.
I learned about them in school. Be wary of mimics. They hide in dusty places, and just when you think you found water, it turns out to be a mimic and it'll eat you.
That's a very wizard thing to say. You should maybe just talk to one. You might be surprised.
Do you know about the histories?
Not a lot. I wasn't very old when everything happened either. I was younger than you, so...
Then I actually am more than I think I am.
Yeah. A bit. Do you want the medal off your back, Syntagon?
I'm trying to work that out.
Okay. Well, if you decide to, I can help you with it.
He can sort of lifts his hand and you can see he's got his spell book in hand and he's like, ow.
My magic's a little bit different from that. I can't even explain it really, but it's not really. It comes from something.
You're not supposed to do stuff like that. That's really bad. It's not very wizardly.
Says who?
Teachers and stuff.
Yeah, well, where are they now?
Well, they're in my memories, I guess. So, at the university, maybe some of them are fighting in the war.
Oh, maybe they did. But they're not here right now. I'm here right now, and you're here right now. And maybe that thing is actually not a good thing either. I don't actually know. And then I extend my fingers and create a little bit of that sort of starlight, that cool neutral blue tone. I mean, it can't be all bad. Despite how much I curse about the source.
You don't like the source?
Well, maybe Syntagon, I know a little bit. Maybe I understand a little about your situation because I didn't have a choice either. I just am this way.
Looks like we got a new friend.
So here we are.
Can you tell me about it? It's okay if you say no.
I don't know a whole lot about it.
You don't remember or you don't know?
I don't know. Sometimes I hear music. Sometimes I hear song, humming.
Welcome, readers.
Thank you. Welcome to the raid. It's a really emotional moment.
And other times I get feelings. And it just says, sometimes you just have to protect furniture because they are living. And maybe it says I need to protect you. I don't know.
We're going to hop over very suddenly back to inside. Araki, you are with Cordassa and Coop. Coop is very, very nervously looking out the window and suddenly kind of starts back and turns to you and says, "There's people coming."
Do you know them? I mean...
He looks at Cordassa and she looks sort of alarmed and she says, "Unless it's more of them," and points to the Warforged corpses laying all over the ground. And he kind of thinks for a minute and he's like, "They might be here for..." And he looks out to where Syntagon is, even though he can't see him. And he looks at you and he says, I think maybe you should hide. You shouldn't have been here in the first place, to be honest.
Is Kuma safe? Should we get Kuma? Are we okay?
As long as they stay in there, they can't be found. So
I should hide.
I think so. And he looks at at Riley and Yurden and says, "Are you up for one more adventure?" And Cordassa kind of looks at him and she sets her mouth and she kind of nods and he nods and there seems to be like a conversation there. And Riley and Yurden agree. And Coop shakes out his hands and he touches both of their foreheads and brings his hands down. And as he brings his hands down, they transform, one into Puck and one into Centagon. And Cordassa looks from one to the other and she kind of winces and she pulls out this charm and she offers it to Araki and says, "Look, I know you don't have your memories back yet, but please, if he ever wants to find me, this is the key."
She takes it.
Just Quinn. And she yells out and Coop says, "Sure. We need your assistance very quickly, please."
Hold on. I'm having a conversation. I'll be there in like 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Anyway, like pizza's really good, but I can understand why people like pineapple on their pizza.
We need a chest.
A chest?
They only turn into bookcases for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. But like pepperoni is really the way to go.
What are you talking about? What pizza?
Yeah, pizza. Yeah, you know,
Pizza?
that's where we are right now in life and here. Okay, hold that thought. I'll be right back. And then I get up and I come over.
And Coop is like frantically gesturing to one of the bookcases. Araki, you're just gonna hop in that as soon as it won't eat Araki, right? It won't eat her. If you tell it not to.
Depends on how tasty she is.
I think I'm pretty damn tasty. So
You might be in trouble.
Is there a way that I can hide somewhere and like still be able to shoot? Can we do that?
Is it really hidden if you can still shoot through it though?
I'm pretty sneaky.
Maybe if this doesn't work, you can jump out. Just if you start feeling
all right.
nibbles.
They're just love nipples. They're not really, you know, like little gentle things. Don't worry about it. And then I go to one of the chests and I start sweet talking and like I was talking to Kuma and just baby talk and okay, so here's the thing. I need you to hide her and she might shoot an arrow through your mouth. It's not really a big deal. Don't worry about it too much.
She fucking hates me.
If she starts to get, you know, a little squirmy,
the bookcase melts into a chest and this long tongue slithers out and like gives you like a little lick to Quinn and then like waggles kind of towards Araki before slinking back, and it opens up and there's this just rows and rows of sharp, horrifying teeth and then a big space big enough for Araki to fit into.
All right.
See, Centagon, nice teeth. Nice teeth.
Araki swells hard and blue skidoo, we can too, and jumps into the mouth of this chest. She you don't expect this of Araki, but she's like, oh god, don't let it touch anything. Throws up a little like in her mouth.
And you see the teeth close as you're plunged into darkness as it closes around you. and Nim and
She takes a dagger out though, and she's like,
Nim and Sylvia, you are upon this house coming in from the front, and it looks pretty disheveled. And as you walk up to the door, one of the guards knocks, and Coop calls out, just a minute, and kind of bustles his way.
Kuma doesn't bark at the knock, right?
No.
You're not that kind of dog?
No, Kuma's a good girl.
Okay.
And bustles over, and he opens the door, and you see this old kind of dragonborn, seems to have like sort of this steam mustache going on, and the guards shoulder through ahead of you. And can we get some descriptions of what your characters look like? Some deets?
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go first, Nim?
Sure. Okay, so Nim's shorter than 5 feet. She has really light pastel purple skin and blue eyes and really short white hair that's kind of braided back on the sides. She's wearing like half plate armor and with like a lot of frills and randomly cute like bows. It's weird. And she has these really big goggles kind of propped up on top of her bangs, and a snake with wings chilling on her shoulder.
And Sylvia?
Oh, yeah.
So Sylvia is, she's also short. She's about 5 feet tall, very young, looks to be like a teenager. She is a violet tiefling with silver hair and blue eyes. And what she's wearing seems to be very for utility. But yeah, she's standing there at the ready behind them.
As they walk in, they immediately beeline for Cordassa, Puck, and Syntagon, and they gesture over to the Dragonborn, and they say, "That one, once we're done, that one's for you." And the guards sort of give Quinn a look, but don't say anything. And one, in a very low voice, says to Nim, "Just make sure. Question them real good about all these dead Warforged and why they're here." And then they go to Cordassa and they say, "You know what's coming." And she casts her eyes down and nods. And the other one's like, "Reckon we got a memory wipe for all of them. Start this over, just a couple chapters, right?" And they nod to each other, and Cordassa says, "Whatever has to be done, has to be done." And she links arms with Syntagon and Puck. And neither of them seem to show any knowledge about who anyone here is, except for like Cordassa. And the two guards grab Syntagon and Puck, and the 5 of them vanish.
Okay, bye.
Sylvia is just in complete shock right now.
What?
Coop is sort of standing there looking very anxiously at the bodies and at you two and at a giant chest that's sitting in the middle of the room for no apparent reason.
Was that part of the plan? Are you as confused as I am?
I'm relatively
Sylvia is like, she's just completely really conflicted right now.
Aren't you Inquisitors?
Yes.
Well, this is all
Yes.
self-defense. I promise. See, what these seem to be rogue Rogue Warforged, they came out of nowhere, and they got me, and it was all self-defense. Roll me some insight, Nim and Sylvia.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Araki, roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh Lord, am I being digested?
Do I do
Only a
real
little.
dice or do I want? Let's do roll 20. Oh, why is it on double? Whoopsie. Whatever.
So roll 20 rolls out 2, just in case you
Yeah.
have advantage or disadvantage. So we just take the first of the rolls. And assume I roll.
Gotcha.
Okay, so Sylvia, maybe plausible. Nim, this guy's full of crap. Like, it's clearly not self-defense. Like, not self-defense at all.
And sorry to clarify real quick, because you said that they So who did we see that disappeared? Because you said some of them cast disguise self or something, or altered their appearance. So who did Sylvia actually
don't know
see
that.
disappear?
Yeah,
Well,
y'all
we
don't
don't know that, but I don't know who that's why I'm trying to figure out who I saw.
Centagon, Cordassa, Puck, and the 2 guards that came with you.
Okay, so I saw all of them disappear. Okay.
Gotcha.
That's a big 12 from Araki over here in the bowels of a chest.
Let's
From
hope you're
the-
not in the bowels.
From the bowels,
Might be.
you start feeling this tingling as a tongue. You can feel it wrap around your neck, and you feel. Have you ever like put like Alka-Seltzer in water, or like and it sort of like fizz bubbles away? It sort of feels like that, but it's the metal of the collar you're wearing. And you are also going to take some damage.
No.
Ouch.
So I'm feeling like a chemical reaction.
Take 4 points of damage. Yeah, you're feeling it sort of
slowly
like
being digested.
sort of bubble and like sort of like acidic melt away. And
Does
as
it
it
feel like an acid arrow is burning a hole into the back of my neck?
not quite that bad. It feels more like something is dissolving or like melting the metal. The pain that you're feeling is where the tongue is kind of on either side of this choker. And sort of just like getting over it. And as it starts to sort of feel that way, you get this memory back of waking up in the town you were in before, in the inn you were in, but Kuma isn't there. And you start looking around and trying to find her, and you can't. And you run down the stairs, and you start calling out her name, and the whole bar is still sort of sleepy awake and kind of like grumbling at you. And you frantically run outside and try to find any paw prints and can't find anything. So you ran the opposite direction than you've been traveling thus far. So you've been traveling north and sort of east, and you ran south to try to see if you could find Kuma, since that's where you had come from before.
Okay.
Do you want to stay in the chest?
I think at that point, Araki would be very visibly upset. Maybe not really know kind of where she is and what she's doing. So she would immediately like slash the dagger and try to get out and like be screaming, having like a full on like PTSD kind of moment.
Okay, make me an athletics check.
Okay. For you, anything.
It's not for me, it's for Kuma.
For Kuma, anything. That's 18.
Okay. Okay. It is pretty easy for you to scoop the whoop out of here. It's a technical term for it. And the rest of you that are present, and Centagon probably through the hole in the wall, see Araki just burst out of this chest And how are you? Are you like calm about it, or are you like nah about it?
No, you 100% like the way that Araki was acting before she got into the chest was like, ugh, this is gross and disgusting. Like she's in like a full-on rage. Like she thinks that like something has happened to the most important person in her life, and she just like bursts out of the chest and she just screams Kuma's name, and I think like once she kind of sees where she is, she'll kind of calm down.
We just saw a mimic like throw her up, right?
Mm-hmm. And the mimic.
I'm gonna take a few steps back so I don't get my clothes dirty. Just make sure it's not.
As Araki sort of like projects out of this, this little tongue comes out and waggles sort of weakly in your direction, Araki.
Just hard
that. Like Kuma. She's just like shouting for Kuma.
Kuma does not come out of the hut, Syntagon, but she kind of stands and sniffs a little and turns and looks at you and walks around you a couple times and sits again with her head on your foot and looks up at you.
Well, this kind of happened. I want to nudge Sylvia and be like, did he just disappear? Was that who we were?
Sylvia turns and looks at you, and she's just got tears like streaming down her face and like ugly sobs, and she's just like, they were right here. They were right here. This has been terrible. I hated this whole thing. And she's just
Jim
a
starts
total
crying.
mess.
Who are these people?
We're both
Quinn is
crying
clutching
now.
pearls, and he is very confused. First he was like, oh no, what happened to Araki and the chest? And now there's these two children that are crying, these lost children. Oh boy, this is not my expertise.
Where are their parents?
I don't know. I think they left. Did the two of you get left behind at the park? Is this what happened? You're so short.
Yeah, Rocky looks at Coop and she's like, do you like actually know these people? Do you know their parents? Do you have someone that we can get in contact with?
He kind of like puffs himself out, kind of like a bird would, with like indignation, and more steam escapes out, and he's like, they're supposed to be inquisitors. They're supposed to be, I don't know, torturing me for information. Or
Nim turns toward him. Yeah, we're totally inquisitor. Yeah.
Can I insight check?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to insight check too.
Should I roll something, or
Are you trying to do a good job? Are you focused on lying?
I'm crying. I'm crying.
I want to know if these are children.
I got a 15 to know if they're children and we should call their parents.
So both of you can see they very clearly look like older adolescents. They're not like children, but like they're definitely not grown. And Quinn, you just spent a minute looking at Syntagon's eyes and in his face and talking to him. And you're looking at this tiefling in front of you.
Wait, is
Weeping.
Cynthia? Can we see him?
I don't know if you would be able to.
Because I'd be really confused if.
If you want to look for him, if you would look for him.
Well, no, I saw him vanish, right?
Yeah. He's
So,
like,
yeah, no.
this much of him is visible somewhere like outside of the building in left field.
Oh, no.
So Quinn, you're looking at this weeping tiefling, and by God, this looks really familiar. This face, this
We're all
voice,
purple.
even sounds familiar-ish.
But I can't put my finger on it. Oh well.
Hearing the name Coop, and having that register in my head, I'm gonna like try to like wipe my tears a little bit and turn from him and go,
Here, have a handkerchief.
Thank you. And I'll kind of take it and I'll blow my nose really ugly into it. And I'll be like, the meddling tieflings, where did they go? What happened? Do you know information? Why were they here?
It's wrong place, wrong time. Ha.
Araki will step in front of Coop and kind of like be a little bit more of an intimidating presence.
Nim's gonna step in front of Sylvia and put her hands on her hips.
Nim and Sylvia, make me a perception roll.
And her eyes are gonna go black.
Araki's eyes are gonna go cross-eyed.
You said perception?
Yes.
Perception.
Awesome.
All right. I see through time and space.
So, we're going to hop over to Syntagon. After Quinn left you and all of this played out, what have you been doing in your little hut of madness with Kuma? You can see all this happening from a bit of a distance, but...
Oh, well, when I see them, if I move the little transparency window to see why they're looking and I see people coming, I'll just be like, whoop! And, go and sit on the floor quietly and be like, Kuma. And I'm actually going to start taking a short rest.
Okay.
Just reading through my book, I realize that I need a minute to replenish some spell slots before I do what I want to do.
Okay. So as you're taking a short rest, just sort of petting Kuma, Nim, you notice as Coop is very badly lying, he looks very like covertly off to the side, and you sort of follow that gaze, and you hear a very strange like chuffing noise, almost like something is panting, as Kuma has like rolled over and it's like on like at Syntagon's feet, as he is kind of quietly like.
While I'm standing in front of Sylvia, looking as intimidating as I can, I'm pretty sure like my hair is starting to change color. It's looking a little weird. I want to nudge Siri, like, hey Siri, can you go check that out? I really hope I messed with someone's phone right now.
I mean, what do you want me to look for?
I heard something over that way. There's panting.
Panting? Okay, I'll look at the panting. Be safe, Mom.
No probs.
Can we hear this voice, or is this something only she can hear?
This is in my head.
Okay.
It's all in my head.
You definitely hear Nim's
crazy.
voice, though.
Okay,
Nim is just like talking.
Oh yeah.
And then you see this little like winged feathery snake uncurl and kind of like low fly, kind of clumsy, like if a baby bird
Very
was
clumsy.
leaving the nest over to where the huffing noise came from. And Syntagon, can you see out of your hut?
Looking out, it's always transparent.
You see this small. You're a studied wizard, so you'd probably know it as a.
I think it has true sight. Pretty sure.
It does.
Yeah.
But if we go back, hang on, let me pull it up.
Yeah, pull up your teeny hut.
Because no, I don't know if true sight counts as a magical effect.
Oh.
I
really.
Spells and other magics can't extend through the dome or be cast through it. The atmosphere is. The dome is opaque from the outside of any color you choose, but is transparent from the inside. I don't know.
Oh, is this tiny hut?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. No, I have this issue in my other game too. Come on.
Okay. No, I don't think it would, but the internet tells me it can't. Oh, let me see what else coddles have.
My husband DM says no.
Google says no. It's a mighty Google.
The almighty Google.
I would 100% as the DM decide which one would be more entertaining for me and go with that.
So as you see it, and it sort of like coils right under you, and this tongue kind of flicks out and in and out and in as it sort of looks around, and then it sort of like stops and like looks at you, but it doesn't like really seem to like see you. It's still sort of like, and it just like, it's one of those things where if you had a scanner and you just sort of like, you're looking for the metal and you kind of like feel where it is, but you can't like see, you're not an x-ray.
Meanwhile, Nim's hair is now black.
And Nim, you hear a voice that says, "Mom, there's someone in here. There's two someones."
Two someones.
Uh-oh. I looked to Araki, like,
Yeah. Araki, realizing that they've found where at least Kuma is, like, she cares about Zitagon, but obviously she, like, just kind of, like, takes the dagger that's already in her hand and just starts to kind of, like, raise it a little bit. What's your problem here? What are you guys trying to accomplish?
I stand behind her and look very intimidating.
Roll an intimidate roll.
To aid her.
Okay. I'm good at intimidation. I'm a half-orc.
Okay. Araki, roll intimidation, and Quinn rolled a support. Just roll me a d20.
Oh, no.
Okay. I didn't roll great. I rolled a 12 on my own.
So these two figures stand before you, and they look like they're trying to be intimidating, but at the same time, like, not completely scare you. So the end result is them sort of looking like
They're
unpracticed, thuggish. Yeah, like kind of just grumpy and like
my sweet summer child.
My RBF face.
You used to have babysitters at some point, and it looks like that time where like you stayed up too late, but you were doing something really hilarious, and your babysitter was kind of like trying to be stern, but at the same time kind of laughing to themselves. So that's sort of what they look like, where they're like trying to be stern, but not too stern, and they're like, how do I intimidate children without being like the bad guy?
Now, where are your parents?
Where are they?
I'm not going to tell you anything.
Yeah, what the hell? I don't.
That's a
When do I
bad
need my
word.
parents with me?
Don't you? That's a bad word.
Yeah, you use heck in this house.
That's right.
Fuck that.
Heckin'. Come, are you gonna let them talk in your home like this?
Sips wine.
Bookcases cover your ears.
That's fair.
Now, what's over in there? That weird hut.
What hut?
What hut?
That hut.
There's no hut.
The hut
I don't
that's
know of
right
any
there
hut.
that my snake is on.
Your snake found a hut? That's the weirdest thing I think I have heard.
I don't see no snake.
The snake is sort of like slithering up to the side and it sort of like turns the head back and like flicks the tongue out and like keeps.
Well, she got their attention to go over there. I want to try to cast Charm Person at Coop. And I'd want to try to do it like stealthily while their attention was drawn toward looking at Siri.
That is a what save?
I think it's a wisdom.
Yeah, it would be wisdom.
Yep, it's a wisdom.
Okay, what's the spell save DC?
13.
Okay. Meter pass. He like barely passes, and you can see for a moment like he gets sort of like a glazed look on his face and then sort of shakes it off and then looks very worried.
I just like whistle a little bit and like look away.
Did I see it?
Yeah, can we see if we saw?
Yeah, roll me
I'm
perception.
like right beside him. Ooh, that's good. That's an 18.
So, are you looking at Coop or are you looking at the girls?
Oh, he's to my back, so I'm looking at the girls.
Yeah.
You see some of the, I believe Charm Person has a somatic.
Yeah, it's visual and somatic. Mm-hmm.
You see sort of like some wibbledy-wobbledy magic-y stuff going on.
I'm not shielding her very much being shorter than she is.
And
thank you for all of the biddies. Everyone's been donating a whole bunch of biddies. Everyone's got 1 temporary HP from Monster Vet, who's unfortunately gone to bed. Holly got 2 advantages, also from Monster Vet. And we've had some more biddy donations. That one was just by Rock. And there was another one was from Vec29. Thank you very much, everyone.
So wait, what? 1 temporary hit point?
You get a temporary HP.
Woo!
Yay!
So healthy. Oh, I totally forgot to roll my HP. Oops. Let's not get into a fight, guys.
Which is funny because
As
I think
we're
that
standing here ready
Quinn
to
is
fight.
pulling out a sword and aiming it at this
hell.
small child and saying, "Listen, don't do that. That's really rude. You can't just like cast spells at people. That's rude. Don't do that."
I didn't cast a spell. I'm telling you, there's a hut over there.
No, at Sylvia.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Sylvia, yeah. I
No, I didn't do anything. I'm just standing here. I'm just a small
Don't wag
kid.
your sword at us.
Sounds like we have
Ma'am?
2 liars here.
I don't much appreciate
I think you guys are liars too.
Well, we're adults, so we can lie.
That's not fair.
Fighting, please. I'm gonna start
Alright,
tearing
let's,
up and try to look extremely pathetic and upset now.
Coop like kind of like and like rushes over and kind of like tries to comfort you and is like
Big tears,
is like
droopy hair.
is this normal? Is this how it works?
People disappeared, and now there's a hut over there. Now you're pointing a sword at us. What's happening?
They were just trying to cast a spell on you, Coop. I need you to get your shit together. I need you to get it all together. Don't fall for these anime tears.
They're literally here to
Big
torture you when it's
tears.
working.
He's kind of like ungrasping and like looking very nervously back out and says, I'm sure they'll be okay. It's only, you know.
Yeah, let's how about we talk about this, guys? How about we just take a step back?
Let's I'm Coop. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you too.
I'm Nim.
Coop, can we just talk? Can we just talk with you? Your friends are really
You're
scary.
nice. They're mean.
I still have my sword out.
I'm not
There's
gonna
a
let
hut.
that happen, but we can all have a conversation where we be really honest with each other. How about it?
Okay.
I mean, how honest?
The most honest, Coop. The most.
Oh.
No crocodile
Well, yeah.
tears.
Half honest. Maybe
Well,
like half.
we'll be honest if you're honest, but I can't say anything until I hear your story.
All right. Well,
Our
my
ride
story
left.
is honest.
Oh, well,
Is there a seating area around?
oh,
Are there chairs?
a couple more, Quinn, if you don't mind, those beds into chairs, that would be lovely.
What?
I do that.
Okay.
Are they
So,
mimics?
a couple of tables kind of appear, and some squashy chairs as the beds disappear. Well, turn into them.
Are they mimics?
insight or nature or survival me. I'll
Oh,
accept
I'm rolling insight for this.
Yeah, it looks like they be that.
I'm gonna floor it. just gonna floor it out.
Are you sitting
think
on
the
when
that
in
rug?
doubt,
different?
when in doubt, floor it out. Pop a squat, cross my legs.
I'll
Do you
follow.
think the floor
I'll
is
follow
any
her
different?
suit.
I don't trust those chairs.
That's a trap.
That's a
Coop-
trap. Arr.
Coop very easily sits in one of the squashy chairs,
I'm gonna
and
poke
he
it a few
says,
times.
Araki will sit on like the arm. She just leans against it.
Quinn is going to examine the dead Warforged.
And I'll call Siri back. Since I know it's over there, he doesn't need to like.
"But Mom, it smells like Sylvia in here."
Smells like. Okay, why does the hut smell like Sylvia?
What?
The hut, it smells like Sylvia. Siri said so.
I don't know what that means at all. I really don't.
I look as confused as everyone else.
Sylvia, Siri says the hut smells like you.
The little snake thing kind of like peels itself off
I'm
and
here
flies
too.
back over to Nim all clumsily.
Can I
And-
catch it by its tail?
Flop, flop. Hey!
Make a sleight of hand.
Oh. Oh. The wrath. Ugh.
She's clumsy. I mean,
I don't have a stat block for this snake.
Yes, you're able to catch it by the tail as it goes
no!
past.
Let him go!
Mom!
Let him go!
What is this?
Let him go, or I will smite you.
Is he talking to you?
Duh.
Duh.
Let him go.
What do you mean, duh? No. What is he saying?
He says that the hut smells like Sylvia. Now let him go. He can't. He doesn't fly well.
Sylvia's right here. This is Sylvia.
No, that's Siri.
yeah. What's your name and what's her name and what's the snake's
Sylvia. I said my name was Nim.
name? Okay.
Right,
You're holding Siri.
but Sylvia's.
And that's me. I'm Sylvia.
Coop
Yeah.
gets a look on his face.
Can you please let him go? He's probably like flopping weird.
Yeah, he's sort of
He
like
doesn't fly well. you
half
know? It's like-
yo-yoing, like
He's kind of cute.
I'm gonna say Araki's like really like
Let him
she's hung up
go.
on this. She's like, Quinn, I mean, come on, man. I mean,
His
He's
tail
cute,
feathers
I
are
like him.
delicate.
I let go.
it kind of like starts to fall and kind of like barely wobbles back up and kind of curls around your ankle.
Oh, I scoop him up and I put him on my shoulder.
That was really scary, Mom.
I'm sorry.
cute.
Pat,
He's
pat.
real cute.
And Coop lets out some more steam and he says, Sylvia what?
That's not her last name.
Hey! I turn toward her and like, don't say anything. I'm not gonna tell you that.
I thought we were
I
going to
mean,
be
your last
honest.
name's not what?
I mean, I can. You guys haven't been honest with us first. This is just gonna go around in circles, and we're a
Yeah.
lot more stubborn than you guys. I can tell you that.
The
I
most
believe
stubborn.
you.
Coop kind of nods and like teenage girls. Ugh.
It's funnier because I'm older than Sylvia, so.
She's like,
Smaller.
why are you calling me a teenager?
Yeah, like 25.
All right.
No.
How about this, guys? My name's Araki. Now, I was honest. That's my name.
Hi, I'm Nim. This
Nim,
is
nice to
Siri.
meet you, Nim. Hi, Siri. Siri's very cool. The dark eyes thing, you're gonna have to teach me how to do that at some point, because
Me?
that was cool. Yes,
Araki.
yes.
Araki.
I can do all sorts of stuff.
This
My
is
hair-
how you get in with the kids.
My hair turns pink.
Very cool hair. Nim.
Yep.
Very cool.
My
I'm
name is.
also not a kid.
Okay, sure. This is Coop.
I live here for now. I'm an illusionist. I make things look like other things, and I may not have killed the Warforged accidentally. They were.
Yeah, I'll say right now, those Warforged, they came up in here and they attacked us. Okay? I was protecting myself, okay? And my best friend. So I'm not gonna apologize for nothing.
Yeah, if you really look at everything in here, you can see something like a dinosaur went through here, and we're not dinosaurs.
Yeah, I think
How
I'm
could we have
quite-
caused this much damage?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that
I
was
don't know any
because
dinosaurs.
Syntagon got polymorphed into.
Wait, what?
You said to be honest.
I said like half
What was
on
he
it.
doing
That was
here?
like 5 minutes ago.
Well, Syntagon is here because this is
He's
all.
here?
I
No,
mean,
he
was here.
Wait, he's
He
here.
was
Not-
here.
not-
That's probably why it smells like him, or smells like me.
Hut.
Yeah. I mean, there were like, you guys just saw, there were like 3 different tieflings in this room. I don't know how many.
Tieflings all smell the same.
I think that that's racist, but I'm not a tiefling, so I don't mind.
I
All
can say
purple
that.
ones.
You can say it because you are a tiefling. Okay, I got it. I mean, it's still a little racist, but
We all smell like lavender.
well, I mean, that's a positive. That's I mean,
Wait, does that mean when I'm purple, I smell like lavender?
So, with a 15 investigation on the Warforged, Quinn, what are you trying to? You said you wanted to examine them. What are you looking for?
It's weird for them to have attacked us, right?
Yes, as you are looking at them, and you sort of like kick flip one over, not kick flip, but like kick flip. That's how you get in with the kids. You're looking for this insignia on the back where you've seen this symbol that is the modify memory / looks thing, and you notice that none of them have it. Every other Warforged that you've come in contact with has had it. They also don't seem like really well put together. Like the other Warforged that you've seen have been like functioning, like maybe some repairs cobbled together, but looking good. These almost look like they were just like if you got a junked old computer and turned it on and then just let it go.
Hey, Inquisikids.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, it'll be your next middle grade book series. So what do you know about Warforged?
That's definitely some right there. Yep.
Were you hired too soon for this job? Like point blank, like is that yes, no?
We are actually very highly trained.
Very highly trained.
do I believe them?
Deception rolls, insight rolls.
We'll see how that goes. We shall see.
I believe them.
Maybe.
I also believe
Maybe.
them.
They could critically fail.
Oh,
Nope.
I rolled so low.
Such truth.
I
And-
definitely believe them. I rolled a 7, so
Okay.
And I rolled a 6, so we're like, okay, well,
That's
nothing else
22
seemed
though.
right, but this seems right.
this is definitely
So truthful.
on the up and up.
Yeah, I guess.
So, Coop is sort of looking at Sylvia, like not super believingly, but everyone having heard that Nim is actually like an adult person, kind of is like, okay, this is believable. And the others who are looking at Sylvia also, like they're kind of like, well, you know, maybe it's sort of like an intern kind of thing, where like Nim was trained up for this, and like now there's an
Hi, this is my
assistant.
intern.
This makes sense.
Yeah, in regards to like Syntagon's age, how old does like Sylvia look?
Slightly younger, right? How old is Sylvia?
She'd be 15.
Yeah, so
Okay,
slightly
so slightly
younger. Yeah.
And I didn't really trust that Syntagon was drinking age, so. So, okay, alright. I'm like, alright, this is like shadowing thing. Maybe it's take your child to work day.
Just because we're
Whatever.
purple.
And we're going to jump over to Syntagon. You've been resting for a while. You feel your magic juices kind of flowing. This snake thing kind of skirts away, and Kuma's sort of looking up at you lazily and
Have I
panting.
been resting long enough to proc this? Or maybe
Yes.
we could yes, fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe a short rest only has to be an hour or half an hour or something.
A combined level that is equal to less than your wizard level. Equal to or
Half your
less than
wizard
half your wizard level. There we go. So my wizard level is 7. Which means...
So it'd be 4, right?
I would have thought 3.
It says rounded up. Half your
Round it.
wizard level rounded up.
Beautiful. I'm going to restore 1 4th level spell slot.
Okay. Are you going to do anything with it?
That's the real difficult part.
Roll me a perception while you're in this hut to listen to everything
If you
that's
want me to
going
roll
on.
stealth at any point as well, because I am trying so hard to stay so quiet.
Yeah, roll me perception and a stealth. Okay.
Should have rolled them the other way around.
I think my
Ooh.
passive perception is 21.
So,
That observant feat, though.
as soon as you're finished with this rest, and you start you're kind of like, all right, which of these should I get back? And you pick your one that you're gonna get back, and it sort of whooshes back on you, and just sort of as a well, that's done. Your book shut. And then you're like, ugh, as you sort of oh God, what have I done? And it kind of falls on Kuma, who kind of a little bit unexpecting it. And the rest
Thank
of
God
you,
Raven's not here for that.
Nim pops up like a meerkat. Did you guys hear that?
That definitely was thunder.
there are no
Uh-huh.
clouds.
Thunder.
Definitely, yeah.
Uh-huh.
You haven't been topside for a while at all, maybe?
You don't know
Yeah.
my life.
She's
And-
right.
Kuma kind of looks up at Syntagon with that look of a kicked dog.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kuma. I'm sorry. Pet, pet, pet. Pet, pet, pet.
How far away is the
Scritch,
tiny
scritch, scritch. Scritch, scritch, scritch.
How far away is it, Syntagon?
I only walked outside and walked a short distance, so far enough for it not to interfere with the building, so probably 15 feet away from the building.
hut? Okay.
As you kind of scritch and you look, you can see everybody's head snap to you where you are invisible.
I'm pointing at the sky. Definitely thunder. Definitely thunder.
So
Yeah.
thundery.
That's the way it works. What can I say? Are you gonna go? Are you just gonna go? Or are you here for a party?
Huh? Our ride left us.
This is really inconvenient. You should
You
probably
have the
start.
Uber spell?
I'm gonna turn to Nim because we're sitting right next to each other, and I'm gonna try to whisper really quietly in her ear. And I'm just gonna say, "We're supposed to take Coop. Should we just take him and go?"
Roll me a stealth to be quiet
Okay.
and whispering.
I can do that.
I get to perceive.
Should we both
Yeah.
roll or?
Yeah, both roll since you'll probably be responding, and Quinn, go
Oh!
ahead and roll me a.
I'm getting good online rolls. What is this? I wish
Okay.
I could roll in my other game.
You see the girls doing the whisper thing.
What the fuck? This is bringing back bad memories of high school.
Time for Gretchen Wieners. Bye.
I hate this, everybody.
And Centagon, are you having any reaction to everyone having looked at you?
Okay, I need to make a decision. I think I want to remember Kuma. Okay, listen, if this goes bad... Why am I explaining it to you? You know, I know exactly what'll happen if this goes bad. It's kind of a good thing that the book got dropped on you, though, because now I can cast the spell I was thinking of. But he doesn't have Sculpt spell. He's not that kind of wizard.
Book got dropped on Kuma, though. Or what?
I'm leaving. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
But he's going to try and make this spell specifically focus on his back and all of the skin / flesh / bones, etc., which are in contact with the metal plate. Plural. And I'm going to cast Life Transference at level 4.
Okay.
And what that does is it removes damage from me to give to another person. So I'm going to take 5d8 necrotic damage, which
Okay.
is 33 points of damage.
Okay.
I just
I'm-
discovered this spell. It's cool.
Give it to Kuma. Kuma's getting all of that lovely HP.
Okay.
Good. I don't know why, but Raven, as a Rocky, thought it was the other way around, and I'm like,
No, I thought that for a moment too. And
I
I was
did
like,
too, yeah.
the sacrificial puppy, Centagon.
Sacrificial puppy, no.
And that has literally reduced me to about just over a quarter health. And I'm hoping that it's going to make all of the skin weak enough that I can just sort of pry it away from my back.
Okay, so
okay,
we
sorry.
we knocked in the middle of it where the seam is.
Yeah.
Are you focusing? This is a leading question. Are you focusing on the top half or the bottom half or the middle of your back for this spell?
The way I've seen the rune is the breathing part is always at the bottom and the control part is at the top.
Yep.
It's emblazoned on my brain forever, Holly. I will be holding my hands across the bottom part and trying to remove the top part.
Okay. Does life transference have a somatic component to it?
Life transference is verbal and somatic, and I need to have a target that I can see within range, which is possibly the main reason I brought Kuma with me.
Okay. Okay. So, as you cast this, and as you at first you see Kuma like looking really energized, and like tail starts going crazy as it goes, as the health seeps into Kuma. But the next moment, all you feel is searing, terrible, debilitating pain in your back, your upper back. That is, roll me a Constitution saving throw to not.
I'm sorry, but
Scream or
Raven
go
literally just produced popcorn. I'll choose to fail. I'll choose to fail. I realize that people know where I am at this point, so there'll be a piercing scream like, "Ah!"
And
Rocky would go running.
Sylvia, make me a perception or investigation roll.
Okay.
That wasn't thunder.
Are you saying perception
certainly
or
wasn't.
investigation, or
Yeah, pick one.
okay?
Pick your favorite.
Also, when I was whispering to Sylvia, I was smelling her just to see if we were smelling like lavender. Because I
She
was
smells like lavender.
legitimately curious. If my skin
100%.
turns pink, roses?
You don't smell like roses.
But you can't, like, smell yourself, you know?
You're used to it. So this piercing shriek comes out in the middle of all of this, and Centagon, you hear a clanging as you're sort of like, yeah, and like arched back and screaming up to what used to be the heavens and now is green horrorscape above you. And
Tornado sky.
Yeah, it's not very fun looking out there. And you fall to the ground, and everyone else is hearing this this thing happen, this commotion, and you start hearing booming barks coming from seemingly nowhere.
Yeah, Kuma is the only person except for me that can go in and out of the hut as they please.
So there's no way that was thunder.
Hold that thought.
Like
and then
0%.
I will go over to the bubble.
Noctilately.
Centagon.
Yeah, Araki goes over there and she's like a lot less calm than Quinn.
Centagon.
Centagon, you are in shock.
Centagon! Kuma!
Okay. Mm-hmm. I will cast Dispel Magic.
I start whacking Sylvia on the shoulder. Could we hear them? Wait, could we hear them talk?
Oh, you could hear the screaming.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm whacking her on the shoulder.
I'm just like don't know how to process what's happening right now.
Shaking her and pointing.
As you open this that you dispel magic, can you put in chat this is not the correct music. Can you put in chat what dispel magic is, how you calculate out
I am trying to, and it is not working.
Okay.
When I click
let's see
it.
if I can just look at you. I look at you. Okay. Dispel magic. So Lehman's tiny hut is 3rd level, right? Or is it 4th?
3rd. I cast it at 3rd.
Okay. So it dispels, and everyone sees Kuma and Centagon, and Centagon is like spasming on his back with like mouth agape in sort of this continued silent scream. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to send that privately. That's also wrong. And there's sort of like, there's blood pulling underneath him, and Kuma is just like that thing where like you like bark at something and sort of like push forward on your feet. And Nim and Sylvia, you also see this as Centagon's like hands sort of like are like almost like digging into the ground, but since it's such hard rock, they're just sort of like scraping up against it.
I think that Quinn probably was prepared for this and so reacts pretty fast to it.
I would also run forward.
Centagon, roll me a con save distinctive of this.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, at least Araki and Quinn, are kind of like, let's I mean, our buddy is like obviously doing some harm to himself, and I think they have the same idea. Like Araki like gets out like a rag from her back pocket real quick, and she's putting it up against like obviously where the wound is to stop bleeding, and she's probably gonna cast Cure Wounds.
I was about to say, I'm scurrying over. I go, move, 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 and I'm gonna slide and also try to get close and cast Cure Wounds as well.
Cure some wounds.
And
Cure some
Sylvia,
wounds.
what are
Cure
you
all
up
the
to?
wounds. Slide under people's feet, you know.
What's Sylvia doing in reaction to this?
Starts to sob, just seeing like the blood and just the scene is extremely she's just in panic mode, and it's kind of got her paralyzed a little bit.
And everyone who's rolling healing, roll the heal amounts.
7.
Of course I rolled bad this time.
Araki.
So like everyone, healing is kind of my thing. So
She'll like Araki will like move her hand from like the wound, just kind of like an opening for Quinn.
I'm going to lay down my cloak on the ground and say, hey, Araki, you're stronger than I am. Can you help me with this?
Yes.
And lift him up onto it. Okay. And then I will do my whole medicine thing and try to patch him up.
Okay.
With 2 sets of cure wounds, it's actually taken me above half. I'm a wizard. I'm squishy as hell, y'all.
The level 1-2 cure wounds from Araki.
I was about to say I did level 3 cure wounds and like I rolled shit. Damn it.
So I'm just gonna. I imagine there's like a gaping hole in his back, right?
So you all know and love the outline. You can see that sort of grooved in to his back as you flip him over, and you see this metal. It's big enough to like hold in your hand and like brandish as like a small pitchfork. That's been like all down his back, and it sort of like separates squelchily out. You can see like pieces of like tiefling flesh and blood still all over it, and you flip him over and it's just like bleeding and bleeding, and as the magic starts flying, like it seems to be kind of knitting together, but there's still like a lot of blood.
Okay, I'm gonna patch him up.
Sylvia, this is gonna like stand up like really wobbly and start trying to like walk over, and it's just gonna go, what happened to him?
Do I get advantage because I have people helping me?
Sure, yeah, that's good.
Cool.
So you're able to sort of like clean a lot of the blood off and kind of like add some like medieval acetone or whatever it's called to there, like the alcohol rub, and this also kind of stings Syntagon, but as you're feeling all this healing like washing over you and everything is starting to come back, that's where we're gonna no, I'm just kidding. I was like, no. And you hear a very familiar voice as you kind of like turn to the side, and everybody roll me a perception check except Syntagon, because your eyeballs are inside of your head.
I'm just not gonna roll like above the single digits today. That's cool. I'm fine here.
This is why I trust real dice.
Okay.
Real dice are just, they betray me all the time. I roll worse.
I have that problem with Roll20.
What was yours, Araki?
15.
15? Okay, so really above a 10, you'll be able to see as Syntagon ages up similar to what you've seen and is no longer the 17-year-old, but probably like young 20s, around the same age as Cordassa in front of you. And he kind of looks over in a daze as everyone kind of like swarms him, and he's starting to like feel everything coming back together.
I don't know why. I'm sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. You don't know why what?
I don't know why, but I was like, oh my god, he's gonna become like 80 years old. Not like normal. He's like our age, and I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do with this? I'm sorry, go on. I'm gonna continue.
Syntagon, you feel after the initial searing pain and things starting to flood back, you almost felt something else click as something else seemed to be dispelled. And the first thing that you remember is looking in the mirror and casting magic on yourself to forget the people you loved. It was in a chamber, a dark chamber, and you remember seeing yourself staring back with that 5,000-mile stare. And then you remember before that so much pain as memories started slipping away and you would wake up on this cold, hard table in this bright room. And you remember seeing somebody with this grin whose smile always haunted you. And you remember someone else standing over you, this Gyra that you've seen turn into a bird and back, and saying, "He needs more. Give him more of it." And fading out, and every day excruciating. And as you try to piece it together, you think it was like that for years. And you try to think back further to before that excruciating pain, to before the metal getting inlaid into your spine. And you remember Cordassa looking at you, worried but happy. And you said, "This should be the last time. They say it will be the last time, and they'll have all they need from me. And then I'll be able to stay, and I won't ever have to go back again. We should celebrate tonight." And she smiles at you, and she places her hands on her stomach, and she says, "I have good news to celebrate too. We should make a whole night of it. I'll cook your favorite food, and I'll have something special waiting for you when you come home." And you smile at her, and you know, in the way that couples know, what she's talking about. And then you remember further back to when the experiments began. There was a call out for anyone who'd been there during the fall. And you tried to forget, you tried to not remember that you'd been there. But you couldn't not remember. You couldn't forget it when all the water went away. The look on this woman's face as she siphoned it all and became water herself. And she looked at you and said, "Would you not like this power? Join me and we can get all of the elements and make our own world where there is no war." And then you remember when everyone went under to the Underdark, the only place habitable left. The Fae fled to the Feywild. Some of the others went to their other planes, their elemental planes. But those on the material plane, they had nowhere else to go. And you left with them instead of following her. And you remember back further to when you were just adventuring across, trying to figure out why all of the elementals were going missing and why all of the Genasi were being blended together. And you came across someone else looking for the same thing. And they said that the changelings were disappearing too. They introduced themselves as Puck. And you remember back before that to your university days, to before things were bad. There was still the war, but it was fine. You remember sitting and teaching your little sister Sylvia how to cast simple magic tricks and training her up to be maybe a wizard someday, but she just never quite got the knack of it. And you remember back to being a kid, and those are a little hazier because memories of childhood always are. And as you look over from the now and you think back to all the memories and you see your sister crying, years older from when you've last seen her, along with Araki, who you remember meeting twice now, and Quinn, who you remember meeting twice now, and someone else you're not sure if you've met before.
Also purple.
Sin? Sin, are you okay, man?
Hi. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm not okay, but I'm okay.
Is Sylvia crying?
Oh, yeah.
I'm crying. She cries, I cry. Big tears. Hair turns blue. It's all droopy.
This.
I remember everything.
Was it worth it?
I'll just call out his name in like a quivering voice. I'll just go, Syntagon?
Hi, Sylvia.
I knew I'd find you. And I'll just kind of like go like this, and I'll start to walk over, but I'll just like really curl into myself.
Can I stand at the minute? Am I...
Yeah, you're able to stand. It's a little shaky, but you've gotten a good, like, several inches taller.
I'll walk towards Sylvia.
She looks like last time you saw her, she was probably 9-ish. And now she's 15.
I'll offer my arms in the, like, universal symbol of hug.
I'll like go to like punch his arm, and then I'll just like go into the embrace and just start sobbing.
Well, I'm a puddle on the ground.
It's been so long.
It has. Been too long.
Why did you go?
I went because I was captured, right?
Essentially,
a lifetime is a lot to remember in 5 minutes.
as you're thinking back, you remember this call went out for anyone with memories of what happened when the death of the plane happened. And you tried to not go, but people found you eventually. And you finally decided that you couldn't unsee what you'd seen. You knew what happened. If they needed the truth, you were going to help. You couldn't imagine, especially having a new young wife and potentially going to have a family, them growing up in the Underdark. Especially since all that the people were asking was a chance to rebuild the material plane.
I went to try and save the world.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a trick to...
I didn't know if I'd find you. But I'm glad I did.
Do I remember why I wiped my memory?
You remember that...
I understand them wiping my memory, but distinctly the bit where I'm looking in the mirror and wipe my own memory.
You remember before you left that last time, as you went to complete what you thought was the final extraction of your memories, seeing some people that you'd seen around where they'd been taking your memories, looking into where you were living, watching it, where you lived with Cordassa. And once you realized that you weren't gonna come back for a while,
back as I look to Araki over Sylvia and just say, I don't think it was worth it. You're worth it though, Sylvia. I didn't know if I'd ever see you again.
Well, I'm not gonna let you out of my sight now. I've got to get you home. Listen, Mom and Dad aren't safe. That's why I came. There were people watching our house. I came to look for Cordassa or you or someone, but I didn't know what to do.
Is Cordassa still around?
No. Unless you're asking one of them.
No, I was just looking.
Was Cordassa here too?
Yeah, but I didn't remember her. How many of you don't have your memories?
Kuma woofs.
Do you want your memories?
I tried to take it off earlier, and I didn't have the strength.
Would you say, with my aging, I would remember... I've got a feeling I was learning spells so quickly as I leveled because I obviously already knew them and I was just remembering them, but would you say, with aging a little, I could perhaps have a little more grace with spell casting in that I could,
Mechanically, I'm planning on leveling you twice. So I don't want to like throw that at you mid-session and be like, pick out your next spells. But the aging would level you twice.
Okay.
He looks like he's feeling better.
Confused, possibly, or very upset, but physically
better.
Physically better.
Okay. Gonna stand up. How you feeling? Hi, I'm Nim. How you feeling?
Hi, Nim. Syntagon. I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Physically?
Oh, yeah. Physically, I'm okay.
I punch him in the shoulder. Don't do that again.
Ow. I'm just a wizard, you know. I can only take so many of those.
He dies.
No!
Centagon was a mimic the whole time.
Oh god!
Thank you so much for the raid. Ascension Stories, welcome in, Matt and Sarah. Welcome.
I'm like,
I think we should restore everyone's memories if they want them restored. And then I don't think they're trying to save the world up here at all.
Why do you say that?
It was a power mission. They were trying to harness the Genasi's power.
Okay.
They were making me forget.
Were they using you to get the Genasi's power?
I'd like to answer honestly, Holly.
You were there through the whole thing. they were probably using you to see how it was done the first time. Being a smart, intelligent young man that you are, water is gone, air is gone, earth and fire remain. Maybe they were restoring the first two, trying to figure out where whoever took them went before. Or maybe they're trying to take the other two for themselves.
Yeah, they were using me. They took all the air and they took all the water.
What do you want out of all this?
I don't want to burn them to the ground.
I hear that.
I thought that was just teenage rage, but I still want that.
We all want to burn something. If getting my memories back will help you, since I think I'm the only one here that doesn't have my memories, besides Kuma, which I'd like to get my memories back before making that decision for her, then yeah, I'll do it. I'll help you burn it down.
Wait a minute. I want to make an Arcana check on the metal that was in my back.
Okay.
What I'm looking for specifically is, does it just erase memories, or does it take them and store them?
Okay.
Ah, I've lost my Arcana checks. There they are.
Hang on. I was going to say, do you want to use your advantage on this? But
Yes, hell yes, all the yes, but it doesn't matter, but...
I mean, I'll let you reroll. I'll let the advantage be a reroll since we decided after the fact. Okay.
The dice have spoken.
All right. So as you're looking at this, give me a second because I'm typing you something.
She's like, since I was friends with Sylvia, I recognize Ish Syntagon.
Yeah, you would know who he is for sure.
Like, older brother, see in passing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So, with the 13, looking at the metal, you aren't able to determine if it's storing memories. You can see that, probably thankfully, and all of the rest of you can see also, your knock at the seam caused only the top part to fall out. You still have this metal breathing part of it in your back. And as you're looking at it and kind of like, I don't know, poking it with an implement or something, it seems to be more than just about memories. And piecing things together, you can think, okay, well, probably suppressing memories, also probably like physical transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Not really sure if it's storing memories.
Okay.
Or projecting them or anything like that.
Okay. Okay, yeah, look, I can restore your memories, Araki, but I don't honestly know what our next step is.
Maybe it's... Maybe once I get my memories back, maybe I'll be able to give us more insight. I think there has something to do with these war forges. And I remember when I first met you and I was running around with Puck, I saw that woman or that person.
Yeah.
That warforged person. I mean, why was she here? Why was Charlie not who Charlie is?
That's her. The warforged woman. Has the same voice as her, the one who did the experiments to get the air and water.
Oh, so you know her?
Yeah. She asked me if I wanted to join her. in a very almost movie-esque, join me in the dark side, we have all the power style. Doesn't matter how angsty it is, it's still Centagon, okay?
What did you say to her?
Well,
You could tell us if you said that you her.
No, as a result, I was, tortured, had my memories removed, my body changed, and so on. I believe my answer was no.
Yeah, I don't think she liked your answer.
Mm.
She did like your answer. I don't want to know her enemies. Yeah, let's do it. Let's remember.
I've been looking at my spell list. I could use maybe Knock, maybe Melt's Acid Arrow, maybe with my experience returning, I can be more and less.
Roll me an insight.
Are those technical terms?
It's kind of a throwback.
Quinn, roll me also an investigation, or investigation works. Roll me a perception also, please. Okay. So as you're watching everybody sort of like talk, and you're sort of like, the feelings, you're looking at this the choker on Araki, and you can see that it's been kind of eroded since before she went in the chest. And thinking back, which is something that Centagon misses as he's sort of piecing together, like, okay, maybe I could just acid it off. Maybe, I don't know, what spells do I have now? Such an expanded vocab. As you're kind of thinking about it, you're thinking, like, she doesn't have a breather. So if we take it off...
Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Oh yeah, but I was thinking of etching off just part of the rune again. Like I did with Cordassa.
Cordassa...
That's why I'm asking about, like, how precise I can be.
I would make you roll some things.
Stuff. Things.
Some stuff and some things. What do I make you roll for that? To be precise about it, I would make you probably roll a sleight of hand in addition to whatever you were going to cast.
Could we also talk about it? Because we could see Kuma's. And obviously we're not doing it on Kuma. But, like, I'm guessing that she has a similar collar to me.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I could say, like, okay, so if, like, you come at it at this angle, maybe you could just get the symbol. AKA, Raven is trying to give this dude advantage. So she doesn't die.
Quinn has been a little bit reticent. Not out of earshot, still close enough, but kind of washing off his hands with water, basically, of all the blood that's on him. And his leather armor. And he will probably just go up to wherever Coop is.
Standing, like, nervously at kind of the wall and kind of looking over and looking around as though he has realized that in terms of doing a good job, he has essentially shit the bed on this one.
Quinn, drying off his hands on a rag, just kind of says, "Hey, bro. She and the dog will need to breathe. Do we have any more necklaces here?"
He looks around him and says, I gave my last two to the other two. Maybe the two Inquisitors have some extras.
Yeah, seems like they might have thought of that. But then they are kids.
He kind of like shrugs and casts a glance around and says, "Where are you going after this?"
I don't really know. I'm not really the burn everything down type, if you get what I mean. At least I've never been that.
He protectively hugs a sofa.
Yeah, same. Hashtag same. I don't know. Where are you going?
I guess into hiding. I mean, they already sent 2 Inquisitors after me. If they don't go back with any information, or if they don't go back at all. And he kind of like gets this panicked look on his face.
Calm down. It's okay. You know, it's not like we have people who destroyed the world and we're gonna maybe go, they're coming after us. That's kind of overwhelming. But at least there's plenty of spots to hide up here.
He looks around at the absolutely barren landscape aside from his house and chuckles very weakly.
Yeah.
Oh, these have been with me for a while. I mean, maybe with your good word, they'll, go back down under with me and hide with me.
I think they have reason to hide also.
He nods at the pieces of furniture that are kind of crushed and in pieces. And probably.
Yeah. Well, if not with these 2 Inquisitors, where else would we find breathing necklaces?
Go underground. It was free there.
I can make some.
Look
we have-
sideways at Syntagon.
Wait, could we hear him talking?
I don't think they were trying to be stealthy about it.
I don't think Syntagon would necessarily be interrupting the conversation like he could hear. It's more like he's just remembered and is just exclaiming.
Also, would we have any?
I
What's
can,
in purse?
I can make the necklaces.
Digs
I
around
just need
without
like
looking.
a rope or something.
I have rope. Also, hey, are we friends now?
Or even better, if someone's got like a sword or something they don't need.
I guess. Okay, that's fine.
I have
we
a
were
short
always
sword.
friends.
Okay, hi.
I hand him one of my short swords. Yes, we're friends.
Yay!
I'd like to try and make 2 necklaces out of the short sword.
Again, you have to tell me how to do the eye thing.
It does say I can't use anything that requires a high degree of craftsmanship, but I could maybe make a rough one and carve the rune out afterwards.
See, so are you trying to make like a circle that you're then going to carve the rune into, like a medallion, or are you trying to just make...
I
Just like a
have the
medallion.
jeweler's kit.
Excellent. Okay, look, I need you to draw this, and he's
I make
Yeah.
jewelry. Okay.
You can definitely make the medallions. And then Nim, what do you know what Stath jeweler's kit uses?
I don't know.
Between
She used to make costuming and stuff for, like, performing and shit like that. I'm not entirely sure what it includes.
it's
Okay.
real simple. It's just 4 lines.
Go ahead and roll me a
Jewelry check?
Looking
I'm gonna say sleight of hand with your proficiency bonus because you have the jeweler's kit, And you can roll with advantage since you've done this 100 times and you have somebody like showing you what to carve.
Okay, so
I can help more. I can help more. I'm sorry, I've done it again. I've interrupted again. But I can help more.
So a dex check with advantage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care if it's not an attack roll. Give me this. It's about being precise.
Okay.
You're muted, Araki.
Wait, hold on. Sleight of hand. I need to add +3 to this, though.
Mm-hmm.
You might have just been distant.
I think it was just distant. Sorry, I wasn't saying anything about
+3, so 12. Haven't done this in a while.
So your first one comes out
A little wonky.
little wonky. Go ahead and roll for the second one.
All right. Okay, that's
Slightly better.
slightly better. I'm better with clothes.
It looks like the rune. There were kind of some squiggle lines to it that maybe one arm's a little bit longer than the other one. But it looks kind of runic. Anyone who's magically inclined, go ahead and roll me an Arcana on it.
That's not bad. This is a 14.
Okay.
I have spells, so I assume Araki is a little magic.
Little, yeah. Okay, so you're kind of looking at it and you're like, I don't know if this is just gonna pass the muster. And Syntagon, as you look at it and you're sort of like running your finger along it, sort of tracing it in, you feel sort of this warmth in your back and it sort of flows into your hand and you feel this sort of magic kind of get like incorporated into this carving in, and you see it glow for a moment and then you do it with the other one and you feel pretty confident that it will work some, at least a survivable amount.
What's functional?
Like enough?
Great. I'll chuck it at Araki and the better one of the two.
Okay.
Put that on.
I put it on.
Need to practice with jewelry more. Sorry.
No, it's good enough. And I knock the other one.
Okay.
I'll
And now-
say, as Kuma comes over and puts her head down on my lap.
And you knock. I feel like this has been like the most useful spell.
I did not realize when I
Uh-huh.
picked knock just how useful it would be in this campaign. But then I like Syntagon suddenly looks exhausted.
So you hear this very loud knock. And
Hello?
entrez-vous. And Araki, you feel this sort of like separate out, and it is not pleasant. You've heard me describe it. It's not pleasant. As it sort of like comes unhinged and you can pull it off. And as you pull it off, you remember looking for Kuma, looking and looking, and then one day as you were walking along the beach, everything dried up. And you knew something was wrong. And you knew that Kuma would know something was wrong too. So along your lookings, you'd found several other animals that had just sort of palled around with you. It's just sort of like a natural instinct, but none of them quite Kuma. And you looked at them and you thought of Kuma and decided that the best thing to do would be to get them to safety, assuming Kuma, the great and powerful and wise, would do the same. And you went down underground with your menagerie of animals, and you heard tons of people going down. You found a place. You remember accounts of the air being unbreathable, of animals dying in droves up there, and of something or someone taking away all of the water and the air on the surface. And you asked and you asked and you asked, and someone knew of the legendary Kuma, of she who pursued doggedly, the one who broke the plane, who killed the world, and of how she died. But she died a hero. Teeth sank in to her last breath, even as the air was whipped out of her lungs. And you looked at the animals around you, and they weren't Kuma, but they looked to you now. And then you remember raising them, and one day someone came to you and said they needed your help, that they were trying to save the world, that they wanted to put everything back the way it had been. And you just remember Kuma always going after saving the world. They would only need you for a day or two. You would just have to play a part, and then you would be back with all of your animals. And you said yes. And they put the collar on. And then they showed you Kuma with the collar on, wagging her tail, happy to see you, licking you. And she was just like you remember her. And as you look down, she's just like you remember her.
Araki puts her face into Kuma's fur, because Kuma's put herself onto her lap, and she just like smells.
And Kuma kind of like licks your hands and woof, softly up at you, and tail kind of wagging.
Yeah, and Araki won't say anything about kind of what happened. And she'll say, who approached her about helping?
Was a strange man, an elf, who introduced himself as Blink.
Okay. Blink. Okay. And does this, I mean, when I put my face into Kuma's fur, does it, I mean, it's obviously been a long time and this is kind of a long shot, but does it feel like Kuma, like it's actually Kuma, or does it seem like not like a cheap imitation, but...
Roll me an insight.
Okay.
Or investigation, your pick.
I'm not good at investigation. Okay. Well, that's a 7.
Okay.
Meant to know.
Seems exactly like Kuma.
Okay. When they had talked to me about joining and about well, I guess I wouldn't remember. Okay.
You have your memories back. You can ask if...
what was my last memory of Kuma? If like, I mean, you could tell me later too, but...
So the last memory you have of Kuma was going into the previous village, the one that before wasn't sunk in a giant hole, but now was.
Oh, the one when with Charlie and stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then waking up with her not there.
Okay.
And trying to track her.
Okay.
Okay, who my hit list?
Sobs. Big anime tears from Raven's eyes.
Not tiny tears, big tears. Like Miyazaki tears.
Yes, 100%. I think that, like, kind of once all that happens, like, she obviously has, like, a glazed over look, and kind of as soon as everything kind of hits, she just really, she's just, like, I do this with my pet all the time, where I'm just, like, kind of just remembering. I just put my face into her fur, and, like, maybe she, like, licks my face a little bit. Her tail is wagging. But I don't move from that for a really long time. Welcome to Marley and Me, everybody.
So the rest of you see this color come off and Araki kind of freeze. And then after a long time is Araki crying also?
Yeah, but I mean, she wouldn't make a big deal out of
it. Like seems to just sort of sit there, but tears are falling. That thing where like you calmly like are still breathing and you're like, all right, just gotta get this dopamine out. Where she's just
would definitely like pat Sylvia on the shoulder for a second, leave the embrace of Sylvia and walk towards Araki. I'm so sorry. And offer Araki a hug as well.
Araki doesn't move, but she doesn't like shrug away from a hug. Like she's still like in Kuma's fur, but if you were to like hug her, she would probably start to like sob a little bit harder.
Yeah, I wouldn't like pull her away from Kuma, but I would do like the arm on shoulder thing. You know, the kind of if you want a hug, I'm here.
Yeah. Just like the fact that somebody is there for her, like probably really like affects her, because like she probably also hasn't like she hasn't been near her family in a really long time too, and Kuma's been her family for a really long time. So
Nim doesn't know her well, but just seeing people cry notices this and just tears. More tears. Hair gets droopy, turns into a puddle again. Just all blue. Super emotional.
How do you feel about everybody weeping?
Everyone just cry. Everybody cry.
What was that question directed at?
I go and hug Sylvia.
I don't really know what he's doing. He's probably just standing and waiting. Aloof.
Aloof with Coop.
Yeah.
Coop kind of watches it unfold and kind of shakes himself and says, I'd hate to have my memories wiped like that. It'd be awful, just awful.
I guess if you've lived a life. Well, that was implying something. Please don't take take anything away from that.
He kind of chuckles and like goes to pat your shoulder awkwardly and kind of dusts like imaginary dust off his shoulders and kind of like
welcome to the academy.
So I guess I'll just go back to the tunnels then with all of these and find the next teleporter to the Underdark and hope I can get out of everybody's way.
Oh,
we'll take care of you.
Are you going back to the Underdark?
Yeah, I mean, not back to where all the civilization and.
Oh yeah, because there's definitely. Well, we were looking for you. There's probably more people looking for you.
I'm gonna pull Sylvia aside, be like, "Are we like actually?"
If they're with Synagogue, I'm sure they're cool, right? And I'll kind of like turn toward him.
I'll defer to your judgment. I'm along for the ride here.
Synagogue, you might be muted.
Quinn's cool. I don't really know about Coop. I haven't really met him very long.
Nervous
Nim.
smoke.
Nim does want to start making rounds and start hugging people since they're upset. And she's upset, and she wants everyone to know that they deserve hugs.
As you hug Kuma, a big tongue comes and slurps you.
Forcing a hug upon Quinn.
Oh, that's really a lot. That's really a lot.
You're getting one whether you like it or not.
Wow, that's consent is a thing. I should teach you that now.
Coop will give you the scaly hug back that's sort of like an uncle who's clearly never like been around like younger people. Think very Ivory Tower wizard who just sort of got plunked into being social and is like doing his best, but it's like
oh god,
one of those where you're not sure who's going over and under, so you kind of do like the diagonal.
I'm shorter, so like.
Sylvia, yes, I plan on going back, you know, if that's okay with the Inquisitor squad. And he kind of like chuckles a little.
Oh yeah, that's fine with me. Are we? I don't know. They'll probably come after you.
He nods and shakes his head for a minute and says, "Oh, what about your parents?"
Again, I'm 25.
No.
Yours. And he gestures sort of to Centagon and Sylvia and says, "Yours."
Well, we were all being watched, and it got kind of bad, so we went to Joe Brown and Dai Lee, and they're with them now, and the baby, and I left to try to get help. And I took Nim with me.
He looks kind of surprised.
Go, so. I ran off.
And he says, and baby. Well, Joe and
Well, I guess I call him the baby. He's always going to be a baby to me. I guess he's older than that now, though.
He kind of like shakes himself, and it looks like he's taking a lot in, and again isn't really sure how to comport himself. And he says, well, if you need to find your way back to your parents, I can take you. If you or I know the way down to the Underdark. Yeah. Strength in numbers.
Well, that's where we were supposed to take you anyway, so that works out. Though we're not going to give you to them. I just want to make sure that my family stays safe.
He nods and... Okay. So... Right. I'll just, be packing my things. And he just sort of like looks around at the furniture that's like, if furniture could be looking back, is looking back at him, and he kind of like
I will go over to the furniture and start talking sweetly to them.
As you talk sweetly to them, they'll turn into chests with wheels on the bottom, and you see as they turn, some of the books transform with them and other of the books fall into like their open maws, and they like close shut around them. And he kind of like salutes and says, "Thank you."
Yeah, well, you know, you feed them once in a while and they're fine. You have a lot to feed now, but I'm sure you'll be able to handle it.
What do they eat?
Exactly what you think they eat.
He kind of like, ugh.
Yeah. So, just keep your limbs close.
Wait, I thought you said they were cool if you get to know them.
Oh, yeah, they are. They also get hungry. Don't you ever get hungry?
I felt a little me, she says from Kuma's friend. They get hungry. For sure.
They can also sense weakness. Deadpan stare.
Nim, you hear a voice in your head that is, Mom, I don't want to meet them.
No,
I don't
you
want to
stay
be
close.
friends.
You stay close. Pet.
Nose.
Don't sit on any furniture. You can't trust it.
Don't trust the furniture.
Well, what do we do next? I kind of want to go back to that tower. I've got a feeling if I look at the runes... Can I remember the runes from the tower?
The ones written in the circle?
One's written on, like, the wall of sand, the room full of water, the room full of air, the room full of corpses.
So the ones written on the walls would be Kent's Quaint Containment, which is the spell you learned. You do have some books of his still that you brought to prison with you.
They're still in my pack?
Prison books!
I'm really tired. I've maybe got one level 1 spell in me. I want to sleep without worrying about a mimic eating me. And I need to research a lot of this stuff. And you can do it with me. If you like, we can have a montage.
Montage.
There's some nodding, and
Gonna have a montage.
Coop will kind of like say, I know of a tunnel nearby. I can cast a hut too. And we can sleep in there. I'll keep all the mimics on the outside, and it'll be fine. It'll be good.
I'm gonna turn to Siri. Say, hey Siri. You know how you leave sometimes at night? Don't do that.
Aww.
Quinn,
You can't trust the furniture. Don't leave.
It's just patrol duty, Mom.
No, don't leave.
If I was bigger, you'd let me leave.
Maybe, but no.
Quinn, when you say weakness, it's really intimidating.
I know. You're taller now. You were really tall before.
Yeah, I'm taller. I thought I'd finished all my growing, but there you go.
Please tell me his hooves have gone up even more heels.
Stilettos.
So if I grow 3 inches, right, I'm now 6'4".
Okay.
6'4"?
About this.
You're like over a foot taller than me. That's hilarious.
Human males continue growing until 24. Your prefrontal cortex and your shin bones are the last 2 things to finish developing. So,
The more you know.
women stop at 21. Just saying, just putting that out there.
I stopped at like 13.
Yeah, I stopped at middle school when I was tall.
Yeah.
I was the tall kid at 12.
I was
and
never
the short
tall.
kid by 17.
Big mood.
Never been tall. How is it seeing the top of people's heads? It's interesting.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you see everyone at selfie angle. Us shorties have to see like the double chin angle.
Yeah.
I'm fixing my hair to make sure the top looks good.
As tall people never want you to talk about our double chin.
Well, us short people never want to be used as a casual armrest, but here we are.
Right? Ever reach the top shelf? It's just sad.
You just need to be like cheerleader, like.
Oh yeah. I've mastered the art of like countertop climbing.
Oh yeah, I'm like dreading the day where I'm like a shrunken old lady and can't climb on the counters anymore. I'm gonna have like a designated
gonna be
counter
horrible.
climbing butler with me.
I want one of those grabbing sticks.
Is it one of the T-Rex ones?
Oh god. Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think the heels have definitely got longer.
Oh yeah.
Good. Raven is excited about that.
So, Coop will go ahead and cast a tiny hut. Do you want to do it on the surface or slightly in an underground hole?
I think we should get away from where we might be found again. Because it seemed like people knew to find us here.
Roll an insider investigation for me, Quinn.
How did we
Or
know
perception.
they were here?
The guards led you to them. The guards seemed to know
Okay.
where they were.
Okay.
Okay. So looking around and saying we should be somewhere else, Quinn, and Coop having pointed out the hole that he knew of, which is a different one than the hole that Centagon lit on fire, also known as the ones with all the messed up mimics.
Hey, I didn't do any fire, okay?
In the mine?
Okay, I did a bit of mine.
But he...
Fire to mine.
But you sort of are thinking and piecing it together. Like, they'll probably find you if you stay at the house. They'll probably find you if you go slightly underground. But maybe if you go, like, kind of by the hole and just, like, still on the surface, it might be okay.
I
I
would
say
like
that.
to mention that the guards did seem like they knew where you were.
Yeah. So
Might be
I
like-
say all that.
We, like, totes followed them and just kind of didn't question it.
Nim, that kind of information right there is why we keep you around. Those and the black eyes.
Well,
Definitely not.
You're black now. Are you part changeling? Then you can do it.
It's a changeling thing. So you're a changeling.
Yeah.
We knew a changeling, didn't we? Didn't we?
We did.
Do we? Where is he? They. Her.
What was it?
I left them in the pub. But I don't think they'll still be there.
It really doesn't narrow it down if I ask you what they look like, so.
Right. Yeah. No, it won't help. I wasn't being very helpful when I brought it up anyways.
It's okay.
I don't see very many changelings.
Ta-da!
There you are.
Start changing colors.
Really appreciate that.
This is great. Let's go rest.
Caleb will go up to Nim and like come up to her and kind of like sniff her up and down and like lick her face a little bit and then just kind of just immediately turn around and then come back to her. She wants to show that she's being appreciated, like she appreciates what Nim is doing for the group, but then she's also like, today's been a rough day for
Yeah.
Kuma even.
Coop will follow Quinn's direction. He'll set up a hut, and he conjures up some sleeping accoutrements for those that don't have them. Some sleeping bags that are completely normal in every way, and there you see like the bookcases and sort of things like crowding along the outside. And he kind of like waves them off and they sort of like turn into rocks that are the same color as like the ground around you and sort of like scatter around but still close enough to see.
Quick question. If I cast Find Familiar, will my familiar be able to breathe?
I don't think they breathe.
I don't
Or
think
like
they're like face spirits
Yeah.
that appear as the
Okay.
and also
animals.
because I don't trust these mimics, I'm casting Guardian of Faith. Just just in case.
Just in case.
I
And,
know what that is, and I can be there like, that's overkill.
Can't trust this shit.
Are we taking shifts or are we just sleeping?
Syntagon's very tired.
I'll say that Araki could maybe do last.
Okay.
Sylvia can take a shift.
I can take a first shift.
Okay, so we're gonna
Yeah, I don't mind.
2 hours of Quinn, 2 hours of Nim, 2 hours of Sylvia, 2 hours of Araki.
Pull on my goggles.
Each of you please roll me perception as the night passes.
Well, boy, everybody. So
Well,
I
like-
was actually going to cast a spell
That's not too bad.
for a ritual spell. Do I have it in here? I do not. I was going to cast augury.
Wait, Quinn, are you cleric?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Looks at Quinn harder.
Throws a bunch of bones onto the ground.
What's
Give
that
us
bag of bones?
I
What
don't
cleric
care.
do this?
She doesn't actually serve a god. She just has a bag of bones.
Just has a bag of bones.
I mean, you have to when you have a growing pup, you know.
Augury will let me basically I receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a specific course of action that I plan to take within the next 30 minutes, which is kind of a specific decision, but and you get to choose from the following possible omens.
Okay.
Which is wheel for good results, woe for bad results, wheel and woe for both good and bad results, and nothing for results that aren't especially good or bad.
Okay.
Does
No.
my high school crush love me?
Are you taking this shift with me? Is this what happened?
Magical?
Are you rolling it at the start of your watch? Right before we set the hut up?
I'm probably doing it on my watch, and that's why I roll a 6.
Okay. So, you're being a little distracted on your watch. And you're casting this spell. And give me a second. You're taking first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone.
Okay.
I rolled shit.
So, you will get wheel. As you're sitting and you know, keeping an eye out and sort of looking around this hut that has sort of these, you know, these twinkle lights magically put in the ceiling, and just sort of like seems to be a pleasant night in as much as a completely still, curiously sun barren like wasteland can be pleasant. Some of the mimics are like sort of bumping up against each other and like having a good time. Not like that. But like mimic cuddling, wholesome mimic cuddling through the night, and it warms your heart a little bit. And you go through the night and it's uneventful. And then our next one was Nim, correct?
Yes. And I'll
Okay.
have Siri with me.
Okay.
Sure he doesn't wander off.
And you don't really like see anything really happening as you're waiting for your watch, but you keep noticing that like Siri kind of keeps like traveling down your arm. And I don't know if you've ever had an animal that tries to like go for your food and you have to sort of like
Yes.
animal bend them, but you basically have to do that kind of the whole time to keep Siri like nope. And every time you
You
do,
can't take my gold to go buy things. No.
Siri's just like, but there's all these rocks outside, and I'm sure there's
No.
something cool in that hole.
No.
Maybe I can pick some of the glinting stuff off the ceiling.
No.
And finally, Siri seems to sort of quiet as he's been pretty active, and if you've seen Disney's Robin Hood, when the snake, I forget his name, when the snake is asleep and he's just and like the tongue comes out, it's one of those. And then next up was Sylvia. Okay. So as you're sitting there keeping watch, you see some figures come out of the hole, and it's pretty dark and you can't really make them out, but it's not dark, there's a sun, come on, get on it. You're not super close to the hole, so you can't make out super distinguishing features, but yes, Sir Hiss, thank you, Mackenzie Line DA. As you're looking, you see glinting metal all over them, and you can surmise pretty easily that they're warforged. And you notice that one of them stands head and shoulders above the others, and they look around, and the larger one points wordlessly where the rest of you were, to Coop's house, and they all go off in that direction as quietly as they can.
Okay.
They don't seem to have noticed you.
So what I'd like to do, because before I went to sleep, I would have summoned my familiar just so that he could have kept me company. But when I see that, I want to go into Cinnamon's eyes and just walk a little bit out to where they are and watch and make sure they go pretty far away.
As you watch them, they go up to the house, and you can see them enter the house, and they seem to stay there through the rest of your watch. You don't see them come back.
Okay. And when I wake up Araki to take her rest, I'm going to tell her that that's what I saw.
Roll me a stealth roll.
Okay.
Okay. You're able to do it pretty quietly. They're pretty far away and they don't notice you. And then Araki, for yours, what was your perception?
It was a 16.
Okay.
And then I'm guessing Kuma's with me. Do you want to roll for Kuma?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, that was great. She has a better perception than me, which is really upsetting. That's a 23.
Okay. So Kuma seems to be kind of watchdogging it and like very alert, staring in the direction that Sylvia had indicated. And then after a while seems to sort of relax and kind of like lays a head on your thigh.
Araki will give her some really good pets.
And Kuma kind of does the leg thing and sort of shakes and kind of scratches at the collar a little bit and then looks up at you.
Araki will cast that spell that allows her to speak with animals. It's called Speak with Animals. I don't know if you guys know that. I mean,
Yep.
It's a very obscure spell. And she'll ask her, do you want this off? Like specifically scratching around the collar.
It's really itchy.
Yeah, but it'll remind you of all the bad things that have happened to you.
What happened to me?
You know, just people not being nice to you, not being nice to me, not being nice to our friends. You know, happens.
But everyone's nice to us. You're the great Araki and I'm Kuma.
Yeah, but sometimes people aren't nice to us, Kuma. Sometimes we have to put them in their place, and this sort of would remind us of all the times that happened, and reminding us that can make you not feel so well.
You took your collar off.
Yeah, I took mine off. That was to help our buddy. So that hopefully we can make the world right again. But I don't know if taking yours off would make the world right again.
I can help our buddy. I can be a hero too.
You are a hero, you are. But I feel like if you take your collar off, because it helps you breathe. It helps you breathe. Because the world isn't very good right now. I think that if we took it off, it would be you wouldn't like it. Do you trust me?
Of course.
Okay.
So when we can breathe again, we'll take it off.
If that's what you want, when we can breathe again, we can take it off.
Good. I need lots of scratches underneath it.
You will get so many scratches, pretty girl. You'll get so many.
Gives you lots of happy licks.
I'm sorry. Raven's just gonna have a moment. And she just scratches. She scratches a lot. And she gets lots of love. And Araki will still look out and make sure that nobody comes and hurts anybody.
Nobody comes back or through or out again. And as your watch is ending and everybody is waking up, everyone hears a very loud boom and shattering sound. And as you all sit up, alerted to this, and look around, you see a bird larger than any bird has the right to be, soaring up into the sky. And that's where we're going to stop it.
Was that thunder this time?
Thunderbird!
Tell me how scratches.
No, keep going. Want to play more?
Ah!
I don't care that it's 1:30 in the
Syntagon's like,
morning.
I want to get off the ride.
Again. More.
How we doing, guys? Y'all?
That was a lot, Holly.
I know.
1:30 a.m. and I don't want to go to bed.
Yeah, last time I DM'd, I was up like an extra hour and a half, just like, ah!
So pumped. I can't go to bed right now, and it's like 75 degrees in my house. I don't
I'm
even
so
want to go
sorry.
to bed.
I felt that pain before.
Yeah, it's 79 degrees in my apartment the other day, and I was just like, I cannot survive this summer. I'm dying.
Open the windows because it's like 90% humidity.
Do you live in an alligator?
Pretty much.
Okay. All right.
Alligators have nice teeth, everyone.
Yeah.
You know where Florence just kind of sat over? The Hurricane Florence just kind of sat over our town for like ever. That's yeah. It's
Just wanted to visit all the tourist areas.
Yeah.
Well,
All
everyone,
right.
how
Everyone.
about we go round, talk about who we are, where we can find each other online, what our favorite part of this crazy wild ride was, and yeah, all that good stuff. Let's start with Raven. Yes, Raven. I wasn't sure if you were covering your mouth because you had some food. I thought you might have just done the food thing.
Let me stuff some more popcorn into my face.
Yeah, like
Hashtag blessed for at Jesse CO_OP for bringing me some popcorn. But you can find me on the interwebs at Raven_Coop or Co-op. You can also find me at Co-op the podcast. Best part. The part where I wasn't sad about Kuma potentially being dead. That was the best part. You know. I will
That's
say,
hard.
yeah, no, the best part was probably Nim and Sylvia, like the shining rainbow. It's shitstorm. So that was the best part.
Wrote in on a rainbow.
That's all I have.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Next, we have Sarah Somatic. Oh, hi, Sarah.
Oh, hi, that's me. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah. I DM and produce the Sacrosanct podcast, which is a Dungeons and Dragons 5e, also narrative-based, fun stuff podcast. And yeah, wow, tonight was so much fun that I got to enjoy, and Quinn did not, and that's okay because I love when he's in pain emotionally.
Got a
Which
hug.
is from everyone else's. Favorite part, definitely the kids, these lost children.
Kid.
Oh God, I was having the time of my life. But also, there were like nuanced things that I liked. I liked Syntagon, his voice going from 17-year-old to 5 years later. There was that I noticed that difference, and oh my gosh, Araki/Raven crying. That's all I have to say, everybody.
Oh my, it was so much. Next, let's go to Lady Tiefling. Oh, hi.
Hello. So I go by Lady Tiefling on the internet, and that's where you can find me on everything. And my favorite part has to be Sylvia and Syntagon meeting back together. I was thinking about that the whole time. I was like, how is this gonna go? Is it gonna go terrible because he's not gonna remember me? Or what's gonna happen? And the fact that he remembered me and it ended up being really sweet was a really good moment.
Glad he failed the con save for it.
Yeah.
I totally like when we brought Lady Tiefling into chat and Lady Tiefling says, of course I want to be a Tiefling. I could almost feel Holly's brain going.
Distant cackling.
Yeah. Remember how every tiefling is related to you?
Yeah.
Like literally, that's canon, apparently.
Yeah.
At least you don't have another wife. I mean, like, just have the one missing.
Syntagon didn't know. He could have been Polly. He didn't know. Next, aspiring DM. Oh, hi.
Oh, hey. You can find me at Twitter at aspiringdm. I also forgot to mention this earlier. I have a blog at littledragonscribbles.com where I do bullet journal and DM/D&D bullet journaling stuff for how to take notes and whatnot for your D&D stuff and characters and all that jazz. And probably my favorite thing, lingering cat hairs, was like I feel them. They're somewhere. Ugh.
I know.
Probably just trying to intimidate you guys, being smaller.
It worked.
It worked.
It makes me so happy, and then all the hugs. Forcing the hugs and love. Writing it on a rainbow makes me happy. But yeah, follow me on my blog.
Thank you. If you'd like, if you're in Twitch chat, you can put your links in Twitch chat. If not, put them in the Zoom chat, and I'll copy and paste them across for you.
Yes.
You have time whilst we say hi to Holly. Holly, how are you doing? Like, you know, it was a lot for us to go through, but it was also a lot for you to do. Are you okay?
Hi, I'm Sage Ophelia. You can find me here Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm also on Twitter, where I terrorize my players on a regular basis. This was a lot. I loved so much of it. I loved that we're actually like breaking into some of the real that happened. I absolutely adored the entrance of like Nim and Sylvia are like, we're on a mission, and then instantly the objective just like disappears and like
Yep.
and then just seeing how that all played out and like that moment where everyone is reunited and definitely getting to like talk through what's been happening for the past 5 years with Araki and Syntagon has been really cool. And if y'all want anything additional information, you can always DM me. And Quinn's whole like, I want to be emotionally supportive for Syntagon moment of this like this awkward like, just let me say what I came here to say and please don't respond to me because this is just pretend you're a stool for a minute and I'll be good at this. Like that was gold.
I can talk to furniture.
And gosh, Kuma, my machinations.
No, we'll all cry tonight. We'll all just have a good cry. Baby Kuma.
Go hug your pets and watch Fluke.
Yeah, like I said, on the Twitter, I will be just posting pictures of my pets. I've had people say like, "Oh, this reminds me of your dog," and I'm like, "Could you not? Could you just not say that?"
Stop now.
And I'm gonna be posting those on Twitter for people that need good feels.
And last but not least, Scratticus. Oh hi, where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me here pretty much all the time. Wow, today was so much. I'm good, thank you. Favorite parts? I mean, we can pick one for pretty much everyone. My favorite thing about Nim is that even 5 years older, I think Syntagon's still younger than Nim.
Wait, how old is Syntagon?
22.
Oh, I'm older than him.
Sylvia, the
5-year-old.
the sister reveal, like I kind of knew. I've been wondering for a while, if I've forgotten a lot of my life, how is it going to be to remember all of that in one single moment? And the answer can only be overwhelming, right? Yeah, and if Quinn thinks they're not getting a hug at some point, they've got another thing coming because, you know.
You gotta force the hug.
I don't know if Syntagon would force it, but I need to get in character and have a long, hard think about how Syntagon feels about not his maternal sisterly family, but his family that he decided to forget or felt he had to forget. Yeah, it's gonna be a whole emotional trip, and you know, yeah, that's gonna be weird. And Raven, I was crying with you.
I know, I saw it and I was like, I can't look at his little I'm just gonna cry more.
Put up some post-it notes on the screen.
Thank you very much. Just gonna ignore that.
We are gonna go on a raid. Thank you so much for coming on this journey, everyone. We're gonna go and raid Madame Gandalf. If you have the those who stuck around, thank you for crying with us. We feel the Stan tears. I'll just make the raid cry real quick.
I will say another cool thing about this episode was the obvious, like, Syntagon going from teenager to adult. It was very obvious, like, Scratch or finger kiss. Beautiful. We love
No, stop it. We're gonna go on a raid, like right now. Run away. Thank you for coming along, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and watching. I saw a lot of new names in chat today, so welcome new people. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, we'll be back at the same time next week for more Fading Footsteps, but that's it until Saturday, when we'll be streaming from 10 a.m. till 1 a.m. EST. What am I doing? We're doing a 15-hour stream with all not necessarily new, but new to streaming or newer DMs. So if you can tune in, come and tune in. We're here. There's a rhyme there. See you next week, everyone. Keep on evoking emotions. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.